Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host Paul, aka your friendly neighbourhood spoiler man, and in this video we're breaking down the post-credit scene of Spider-Man Brand New Day. The movie ends with a really big cliffhanger, and in this video we'll be going through our theory times on exactly what this means. Obviously heavy spoilers ahead, so if you don't want to know what happens, then turn off now. We've also just launched our Spider-Man themed classic spider shirt at the merch store below, and that's along with our Doctor Doom inspired one and Cyclops full power one. If you buy 2 of those, you're going to get a big discount, and it all helps videos like this get made. Anyway, the film ends with Ned basically remembering or figuring out Peter's identity through a number of different things. MJ discovers the notes that Peter had written for her, but explicitly states that the Peter she loved and person she used to be is a different person to her. The movie from that point on then tackles whether Peter will tell Ned. He then runs into him and they go to shake hands, but Ned does the classic one they had in the original trilogy through muscle memory. Things don't come flooding back, but there's definitely a sense of recognition there, and that he could potentially build a friendship once more with the friend he forgot. Peter's identity is something that's tied to the ending of all his movies, and Homecoming of course closed out with May discovering he was Spider-Man. Far From Home ended with Mysterio revealing his identity, and then No Way Home reversed it, so everyone forgot who he was. So it's kind of building off that. However, I don't know how long Peter really got to spend with Ned, as we end the movie on a pretty big cliffhanger. We jump to the post-credit scene and see Ned's spider tracker trying to find Spider-Man. Initially starts off in Queens before then zooming out to reveal he's not on Earth. The tracker then spans space while glitching. It glitches a couple of times and then finally finds him out there somewhere in the stars. Now, I think the glitches are quite important, and they're similar to the effect when we see things jump across the multiverse. This was something that was a big part of Into the Spider-Verse and when Venom joined the MCU. So I think this highlights that Peter is out there somewhere in the multiverse, and this is probably due to the events of Doomsday or Secret Wars. I do have an alternate theory about this being a different Spider-Man I'll talk about later on, but it plays off some of the Doomsday leaks, so I'll save that for later in the video. And I'll even give you a heads up before we get to it.
I'm nice like that.
Now, in case you haven't read the original Secret Wars, that basically involves heroes and villains being taken to fight a war that involved a godlike villain known as the Beyonder. You see, kids, the Beyonder was curious about Earth and its machinations, so he brought together a number of champions to fight on Battleworld. Whoever came out on top would be granted a wish, and this then mounted up to some big showdowns. Doom eventually gained his powers, and he was only defeated because part of him deep down didn't want to win. I'm vastly simplifying things there, but the reason that this run became notable is because it was in this that Peter got his black suit, which happened in issue 8. After intense battles left his traditional red and blue costume in tatters, Thor and Hulk directed him to some alien machinery capable of producing clothing or repairing gear simply by thought. Spider-Man went to the wrong thing, and it was here he encountered black organic goo that attached to his arm and rapidly covered his body. Dissolved the remnants of his own suit and formed a black and white costume featuring a large white spider emblem on the front of it. The suit then responded to his mental commands, generated organic webbing, and it basically became his suit for the rest of the story and into some of the comics. And I'm sure, right, there was like, they printed the ending of Secret Wars late, like they ran into some delays. And then the issue where Peter was back on Earth with the suit. I might be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure that came out before that, and it was like, these bloody delays have messed up the whole storyline. But this suit, of course, went on to become Venom, and we then got Carnage, and so on and so on. I was so sure that they were going to do something like this in the MCU that I thought Peter might even discover it during Infinity War when they were fighting Thanos on Titan. Like, going off the trailers, obviously. I didn't think that, like, after I'd seen the movie 500 times, mate. Yeah, that's what I mean. But Peter encountering the black suit in space and also being a big part of Secret Wars was something that goes all the way back to that original run. The symbiote is still out there in the MCU, and it could possibly interact with him on an alien planet, and then kind of tie into that original run. Now, the second and most notable Secret Wars run doesn't have Spider-Man playing as big of a role, as the run tends to focus on the Illuminati, Avengers, Fantastic Four, and Doctor Doom. In that, the multiverse is being destroyed by incursions which are ripping across the cosmos and wiping out universes when the worlds crash into each other. So when I saw the world on the Spidey tracker and then the jump to space, I did even wonder if Peter was on an Earth that's travelling towards the main one, and that's where it picks him up. But I do think Peter has most likely been pulled off in the events of Doomsday and Secret Wars, and is now off on an alternate Earth fighting against the doom of the multiverse. I think the casting of Robert Downey Jr. as Doom will likely be something that plays upon the relationship he had with the allies of Iron Man, and due to Peter having the closest bond, that this will be something that's used to manipulate the character. If the symbiote is indeed out there and it taps into him at this point, it could also be something that gives us a darker Parker who aligns with Doom's way of thinking. I was going to say the bad guy's way of thinking, but I think they'll likely handle Doom where he's a villain whose motivations you can at least understand, even if you can't condone. I think Peter will likely be a key cog in fighting these secret wars, and he's probably been pulled as one of the heroes of Earth Prime to fight against the bad guys. I even wonder if he's an anchor being of this universe. You might remember that Deadpool and Wolverine introduced the idea that a universe dies when its main hero is killed or taken away. So Peter could even be that being on the 616. I think enough time probably has passed between the death of Iron Man and now to show that this universe isn't falling apart yet, or maybe Loki could be keeping it together or something. I don't know, mate. I don't know how any of this stuff works, and I don't think they know either, but moving on. This video is sponsored by Hone. So, did you know that testosterone declines 1 to 3% per year after the age of 30? This can show up as fatigue, belly fat, muscle loss, low mood, and also low libido. Most men just chalk it up to getting older, but your body just isn't able to hone all the things in it that used to. That's where Hone comes in though. This is real medicine, physician prescribed and personalized, and not just a one-size-fits-all generic supplement pitch. Now I have to say, I'm not a medical professional, but Hone connects you with a licensed physician who will discuss the benefits and risks of treatment. And here's how it works. You get the test and then schedule a complete blood draw at a local lab. This tests for over 50 biomarkers including testosterone, heart health, metabolism and more. You then have a video consult with a licensed physician who reviews the results and builds a personalized treatment plan specifically for you. Once this is approved, they can provide treatments for TRT, hair loss, peptides, supplements and more. Medications are then shipped to your door, and with them being tailored specifically for you, you're going to have an actual treatment plan that boosts you beyond genetic vitamins and supplements. Getting older doesn't mean feeling worse, so get tested today for $65. My link for that discount is also in the description as well, so just click that, get tested, and get back to feeling yourself again. Thanks. I also wonder if the Spider Tracker is picking up a Spider-Man that we don't yet know yet. Instead, I do wonder if this might even be how they introduce Miles. Now, I know it's a long shot, and I think it'll probably be more likely that he is in the main universe due to the comments by Donald Glover's Aaron in Homecoming. But that still could be something they're showing in the Spider Tracker. They may even bring across animation into live action, and we saw Glover's Prowler during Across the Spider-Verse, so these elements can interact. There is the glitching that we see in the post-credit scene as well, which is of course much like what happens in the Spider-Verse films, and though I think it's very unlikely this is going to happen, it's something that's worth discussing. Now the final theory I have is going to spoil stuff with Avengers Doomsday, so if you don't want to know, turn off now. It might be untrue and the leaks could be fake, but yeah, if you don't want to know anything, then I bid thee farewell. Anyway, the movie is supposed to open with a big incursion between the Fox X-Men universe and Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker. According to the leaks, the film opens up with Tobey and Hugh Jackman's Wolverine duking it out, with both trying to save their universe. Now when it comes to incursions, if you manage to destroy the other Earth before it fully collides with yours, then you're able to save your reality. The film's opening is meant to show that happening in full force between Hugh's world and Tobey's. This shows the stakes of the incursions and that no one is safe. It also builds up the uneasy alliance that the heroes of the 616 have with the X-Men and Fantastic Four. Having two heroes like Tobey and Hugh going head-to-head fighting for their universe shows that even the good guys are gonna have to get their hands dirty, and their fights will cost countless lives if they win or lose. It's kind of a no-win situation, and even if you come out on top, it means you're wiping out an entire planet. And from what I've heard, it ain't gonna be good for one universe, and they will be wiped off the board for good. Now, all of this is to say that I wonder if the Spider Tracker is actually picking up Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man on another Earth. That could then nicely segue into the opening of Doomsday, and we could join that Spider-Man being found on another world, fighting against Wolverine. I wonder if that could also tie into the reveal of the mutants in this movie and how things are developing with Jean. Her seeing an alternate version of her in this multiversal war could be a big thing, and it might help her avoid becoming the Phoenix. Especially as it's happened already, with Simon Kinberg twice for some reason. Give him a third go adapting the Phoenix saga, mate. Third time lucky, it'll be great. But yeah, this theory kind of hinges on whether the leaks are true or not, and if they go that way, but yeah, I did think it was worth bringing up. Now obviously, the film is kind of ambiguous in what it's doing. It doesn't even tell us how we got to this point, and there's clearly a big gap on what's happened. I think the safest and most likely read is that Peter's likely living on Battleworld now, or at least fighting something out there. If that's what I had to pin something on, I'd say that's probably the most likely conclusion to take from this teaser, but I'd of course love to hear your thoughts on it, and if there's anything that you read from what happened that I didn't mention here, The comments are there for you to type away. Either way, I'd of course love to hear your thoughts below. Huge thank you for sitting through the video. Make sure you hit the thumbs up as well. And if you want to keep up to date with what we're doing, then check us out on Instagram. That is at Heavy Spoilers. We update everything that we're doing over there. Some stuff you want to check out, it's probably on there. Some behind the scenes stuff with costumes, it's on there too. But yeah, that's the best way to go. If not though, huge thank you for sitting through this video. I hope to see you on the next one. You take care and have a great day. Great day, mate. You take care. Peace.